So let's start with WMI event querying. So let's see what kind of event subscriptions are already there on the system by default. So to query and to set up WMI eventing, we need local admin. So first we query event filters. So that's the command. We will use WMI client, command line client, and we are querying this namespace for specifically event filter. Okay, so we have one event filter for SCM, event log filter. So SCM is Service Control Manager, and it's querying for some MSF, some MSFT logs. The second command for querying, we are doing the same thing, but we are now querying consumers, and our consumer is actually the Service Control Manager. Okay, and the binding, if you want to see the binding, we can query filter to consumer binding. And yeah, we get that. So what we can do, we can set up first. So we want to create a new event subscription. So we start with first, let me show you the whole definition. So we are creating a new filter. Okay, create a new filter with name inFilter, and we are specifying that we want an event of a process being in memory, wordpad.exe, for which is 32-bit. It is a Windows process. So create that. Then we define our consumer, which will be our implant, right? And finally, we create the binding between inFilter and inConsumer, which was defined previously. So that's basically, we can actually check if it's on a list, and it is. So the last thing we need to run is a WordPad. So WordPad is running, and at some point our implant should fire up, and you can see it here. And it's actually not running in the background. It's not running in the desktop, so Notepad is not visible because WMI by default runs as anti-authority system in session 0, while our Explorer is running in session 1. Okay, session number 1. So that's why this is not visible. So keep in mind that if you are using WMI eventing, you will end up in by default you will end up in session 0 as running a system, and yeah, you have to pivot from this session to session 1 if you want to interact with users' processes. So that's how you can set up a WMI eventing. We can, of course, clean it up, but before we do that, let's discuss how it's actually can be used during your operation. So setting this filter for WordPad.exe doesn't make sense, right? Because you wouldn't expect that your target user will actually fire WordPad. But there are other applications, especially used in corporate environments. So, for example, you can set up this event filter for Outlook.exe or some web browser as well. Okay, and that it's more like a productive, and you will be like sure that that kind of persistence will fire up at some point. So as usual, let's clean up. So to clean up, we need to we delete the binding, then we delete the filter, and finally we delete the consumer. So if you query, it's all gone.